In the silence before dawn, the world trembles with fear. Storms rise. Darkness whispers that we are alone. But faith speaks louder. It says, do not be afraid, because even in the storm, God walks beside you. Faith is not the absence of fear. It's the courage to stand firm, knowing God still reigns. Fear is ancient. It's born from survival, from pain, from the unknown. But when fear takes control, it blinds the heart. It tells you that tomorrow will be worse, that you will fall again. But faith reminds you who you belong to. You were never built to bow to fear, you were built to walk through it. When the world shouts chaos, God whispers peace. When everything falls apart, he says, be still, I am with you. Faith doesn't silence the storm, it changes you inside it. Teaches you to listen, to trust, to move forward when you... Every soul fights two voices, fear and faith. Fear says, you can't. Faith says, with God you can. Fear says, you're alone. Faith says, I am with you always. The louder your fear, the closer your breakthrough. Because fear always attacks before a miracle unfolds. To walk by faith is not to deny fear. It's to look it in the eyes and keep walking. Every hero in the Bible felt fear, Moses, David, Mary. But they moved forward anyway. Faith doesn't promise comfort, it promises victory. And today, the same power that parted the sea still lives inside you. Stand up, move forward. The battle belongs to God. Not ready, not worthy. But faith starts the same way, a seed planted deep in your heart. And when you water it with trust, it grows stronger than any fear that surrounds you. Because faith doesn't need to see the full path, it just needs to take the next step. Faith is not proven in comfort, it's revealed in crisis. Just like gold is refined by fire, faith is purified by trials. The fire doesn't destroy you, it defines you. And when you walk through it, you discover that you were never alone. Because in every flame, there is a shadow of the one who stands beside you. Trust is not about knowing the outcome, it's about knowing who's in control. When you choose faith, you hand your fears over to God. You stop trying to fight the battle alone and let the creator of the universe fight for you. Because real faith isn't about seeing miracles, it's about becoming one. Even when you walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you will fear no evil, because God's light shines brightest in the deepest darkness. Fear says, you're surrounded. Faith says, I'm protected. Fear sees the valley. Faith sees the shepherd. And when you finally understand that, fear loses all power over you. Every life faces mountains, moments so heavy, they seem unmovable. You pray, you cry, and still they stand tall before you. But faith doesn't tell the mountain how big it is. Faith tells the mountain how big your God is. Because even a mustard seed of faith can move what fear calls impossible. Faith will always call you out of your comfort zone. Like Peter stepping onto the water, you'll have to trust beyond logic. The waves may rise, the wind may roar, but faith says, keep your eyes on him. The moment you look away, fear takes over. But when you look up, miracles begin. Your feelings will lie to you. Fear feeds on emotion, but faith is built on truth, not feeling. Even when you don't feel strong, even when you don't feel loved, God is still working. Faith is trusting his plan when your heart can't see his hand. Fear attacks your mind, faith guards it. Every lie of fear is a weapon of the enemy, but faith is your shield. Ephesians 6 says, take up the shield of faith, and you will extinguish every fiery dart. When fear whispers, you can't, raise your shield and say, God can. Faith doesn't always show results instantly. Sometimes God hides your victory until you've grown strong enough to carry it. Fear says the silence means he's gone. Faith knows silence means he's working. Every delay is preparation. Every struggle is proof that breakthrough is near. Hold on, your victory is already written. Fear doesn't just frighten you, it breaks you. It leaves invisible wounds, anxiety, shame, self-doubt. But the same God who sees your scars heals them. Because faith isn't just a shield, it's medicine. God can restore what fear tried to destroy. Fear tells you that no one understands, but God was with you in every tear you cried. He saw the nights you couldn't sleep, the battles you couldn't explain. Even when you felt abandoned, heaven was fighting for you. Fear tears down, but faith rebuilds. God takes every broken piece and turns it into a masterpiece. Your past pain will become future strength. Your story will become someone else's survival guide. What fear meant for harm, God will use for good. When Peter was sinking, Jesus didn't hesitate. He reached out. When Daniel was in the lion's den, God shut the mouths of fear. And when you feel surrounded, heaven surrounds what surrounds you. Fear may shout loudly, but God always has the final word. There will be days you fall, but the righteous may fall 7 times and rise again. Fear pushes you down. Faith lifts you up. Every time you rise, darkness loses. Stand up, lift your head, breathe again. Your story is far from over. Fear says you are weak. Faith says you are chosen. Fear says you are broken. Faith says you are restored. Fear says you are nothing. Faith says you are a child of God. Identity destroys fear. Once you know who you are, the enemy loses his power. Fear tells you failure is the end. But God says failure is just the beginning of growth. Every successful person has fallen, but they rose again. Faith doesn't guarantee perfection, it guarantees progress. People may reject you, but God never will. He knew your mistakes before you made them, and still chose you. Fear of rejection ends when faith reminds you, you are deeply loved. Your value is not decided by people, it is defined by God. Fear lives in tomorrow. Faith lives in today. You don't need to see the whole map, just the next step. God is already in your future, preparing a way where there seems to be none. When fear says, "What if?" faith says, God will. The unknown is terrifying unless you know who goes before you. God doesn't give you fear, He gives you power, love, and a sound mind. If God is for you, nothing can stand against you. Walk boldly, heaven backs your every step.